Are you camera shy, or maybe you don't like the way you look on camera? I'm Bortone, and I want to share a few quick tips on looking more professional on camera. And probably the biggest one is looking at the camera and not the screen, because here my camera is up there, but my screen is down there. And if I look at my screen the whole time, I'm not looking at you and engaging with you. So make sure that you look at the camera. Sometimes I have to put just a big sticky note up there, and remember that the camera is up here, not down here. So look at the camera. Big tip, easy mistake to make. If you're on a Zoom, you're looking at the people on screen, and if you're doing that, you're not connecting with them by looking directly at the camera. So you want to make absolutely sure that you are making eye contact with the camera. And speaking of that, when you're on screen here, you want to make sure that your eyes are on the top third of the screen. So think of your screen as a tic-tac-toe board with 3 lines on it. It's called the photographer's rule of thirds. Your eyes are on that top third of the screen. It's just naturally where they should be. You also want to make sure that you're too close to the camera or too far away. You don't want to have too much headroom. Now, I'm at a standing desk, so it's a little bit easier for me, but oftentimes I shift around, so you don't want to do that if you're on camera. And just remember, you want to watch your headroom. Again, with using the photography rule of composition, you want to make sure that you are positioned properly in the frame. You don't want to be too close to the camera. You don't want to be too far away from the camera. Another on-camera tip is that your background matters. You really have to think about what is behind you in the frame, because that's part of the entire picture as well. Now, in this case, I just have a few shelves. This is an actual background. And I've got a few things on the shelves, and I've got blue lights popping off a white wall. So it's relatively neutral. You want to keep your background so that it's not too busy. Definitely don't want to have a window or light coming from behind you, because that will blow out your exposure. So just be aware of what else is in the frame, what else is in the picture with you. So you want to make sure that your background is clean and neutral and you don't look like a hostage video. Another tip, and this may seem obvious, but a lot of people don't do it. If you're on a Zoom meeting or a conference call or something with a lot of people, keep your camera on. It keeps people engaged with you. It helps you stay engaged in what's going on. I know there's a tendency to say, oh, I'm just a participant. I'm just listening. I'm going to turn off my camera. Try to keep your camera on so that you are engaging with the content and that the folks there can see you. And again, this may seem obvious, but when you are on a Zoom call, even if you're just a participant, we don't want to hear you eating and drinking. We don't want to hear all the nonsense that's going on in the background. So just try to stay present and engaged. And remember to look at the camera. Another quick tip for being on screen is that you want to know exactly where the camera is positioned. Oftentimes, if you're on a laptop and it's below you, people are looking up your nose. I call that nose cam, and nobody wants to see it. So try to keep your camera at eye level so that you are looking directly at the camera. You don't want to be looking up. You don't want to be looking down. You want to look at the camera. So keep the camera at eye level. I know that can be a little bit difficult if you've got a laptop and maybe you're moving around or you're on an iPhone. But again, it's just a matter of mounting that so that it is at eye level and it's not too low or not too high, because the camera does not want to see your nostrils. I like to say that your face on camera is the most powerful marketing asset you have. It's the one thing that you have that nobody else does. It's the one thing that can differentiate you from everybody else. So make sure that you are appearing on camera and that you are engaged and present and looking at the camera. Also, when you're on camera, be aware of too many hand gestures. They can be distracting, and also, if you don't have a good camera and you're putting your hands close to the screen, they can appear like giant hands. So just be aware of your body language in terms of how you're using your hands. I'm Italian, I talk with my hands, which is why I intentionally keep them off screen so that you don't see all this business going on here. Those are just a few things to keep in mind to look more professional on camera. And finally, your camera matters. Now here I'm using a new digital DSLR camera, high definition, so it pretty much shows everything. If you want a little less detail, you can go on Zoom, you can use the touch-up appearance feature, which will soften you a bit. If you have a crappy webcam, you're not going to look good no matter what. So try to get a good camera. I suggest the Lumina 4K webcam, which is about $130 to $150 on Amazon. Or if you really want to kick it up, you can look at digital cameras, which are going to just be more professional in the long run. Another quick on-camera tip, if you wear glasses, you really have to be careful of the light reflecting off them. This is an issue for anyone that wears glasses. One of the things you can do to improve that if you don't want to get non-glare glasses is try to get your lights as high up as possible and point them down. So you can see if I look up, you're getting the direct reflection of my lights, my LED lights on camera. So I have to try to intentionally keep my head a little bit lower and not look up too much, because the minute I go up there, I get the reflection. I've seen this even on CNN and other places that should be more professional. It's just something you have to be aware of. At the very least, keep your lights high so that they're not shining directly into your face. And whatever you do, avoid ring lights like the plague. They're just terrible, they reflect. So don't forget how important it is to build connection and engagement and know, like, and trust by keeping your face on camera and staying engaged while you're on camera. Those are just a few quick tips for looking more like a pro when you're on camera. For more tips and tricks, subscribe on YouTube or check out the link below.